Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, as promised, we're looking at a very good Monolith farmer build. It's a Cyclone Deadeye with fireballs. So basically, it's just a huge fiery tornado. It's amazing. I really love it. And it's probably one of the most fun builds I've seen for the Monolith farming. Right now, I am level 79. That's more than enough for this build to work properly. And I'm just going to show you the build first real quick. So this one is definitely one of the best builds I've found so far for farming Glacier. As you can see, you can just skip all this. You're quite speedy, right? And what you do is you just activate and just make the game, well, basically start working properly. It's absolutely ridiculous how quick you can get with enough onslaught from the belt. You can open up everything easily. And normally when I clear the mobs off, I just get Vaal Righteous Fire as well. And yeah, if you ask me, this is a lot of fun. And just insane clear speeds. You'll be able to get so much currency per hour using this build. I know it's a popular build right now to use something with Cyclone and all that sort of stuff. And I saw a video on YouTube actually of a guy who played a build like this, but it was just like a 30-second clip of him clearing Glacier, and I didn't actually find any build guide for it, so I just tried to get as close as I could to it, and this is the result. So as always, we're just going to look at the three parts of the build. Number one is the basics, number two is the gear, then number three is the skills. But it's not going to be as in-depth as my Wind Ripper character, because this is actually much more simple, and I don't really think you can choose very many other options in order to make it work. And since it's not the start of the league, you don't need to know anything about the league starter either. The basics are pretty simple. What you want to do is have all these fireballs shooting around, have them deal loads of damage while still being fast enough to clear all the monoliths quickly without having the movement speed of a slug, right? So what you want to do for that is have as many projectiles as you can while not sacrificing all the damage you want to deal. You want to stack spell damage, fire damage, and area damage, just to clear the monolith fast. And that's basically it. The basics are pretty simple, so I don't want to talk about that a whole lot, so let's just jump into the gear, because that's where this build really starts to come together. And the gear is actually quite important for this build, because this weapon you can't do without. This weapon makes it so that when you spin, it shoots the fireballs all around you, and it's not just in front of you like it is normally. So you need a Sire of Shards. That's a very simple one, just get that one. The photos for your attack speed, for your armor innovation, which is just meh. But the movement speed is obviously very good as well. You guys know I love the photos just like everyone does. For the chest, I would recommend Carcass Jack because of the area damage and area of effect. But to be honest, I think that once you get a little bit higher level, you don't really need that. It's still very good, but you might want to go... It depends on what you want to farm, right? If you want to farm for a doctor card, I think you would prefer the Queen of the Forest just to be faster while moving around. But you will lose quite a bit of damage. For the necklace, you have Gloomfang, and this is actually quite important because this build does run into some mana problems normally. So this one, lose life for each enemy hit, lose life for every enemy hit by your attacks and spells. But what's important about this one is that you gain non-chaos damage as chaos damage per chain. And we stack chains. We have loads of chains. You'll see it in the skills. So you also get all your chaos damage leeches life, 0.5%. That's loads. You won't die if you're spinning and hitting stuff. So that's very good. As always, I'm using 2 taming rings, but you could also go with these rings that are just yellow ones, rare ones that have resistances, elemental damage with attacks. Mana reduction could be good. Then you would like to get some health as well on that, and maybe some flat damage, fire damage preferably, would be very nice. Alright, so for the gloves, I use Sedima's Touch just because I like to have 10% extra quant. Not that you need it this league, it's not that good. Magic Find is not that good for a low tier map farmer, but it's an open slot because you don't really need any sick gauntlets to get your resistance cap. You have loads of health. I've got 3k, that's enough for low tier map. So you could either go with Sedima's Touch or Tomb Fist would be better. Just get a Abyssal Gem in that with some damage while using a staff, spell damage, fire damage, all that sort of stuff. For the Bisco's Leash Belt, I said it, Bisco's Leash Belt, just because you get so quick when you use it. It's amazing. I love it. I wouldn't recommend anything else. If you don't have this yet, go for the Abyssal Belt with an Abyssal Jewel. For the boots, I use 7 League Steps, but this is just because I want to move around quickly. It's actually better to use rare boots with life and then enough movement speed. You can get to like 40 something% with rare boots nowadays with an enchant on it. Then you have more life as well. Maybe get some resistances if you're lacking, because as you guys will see, my lightning resistance is actually not capped, and neither is my fire resistance. But that's because I just, let's see, yeah. So my fire resistance and my lightning resistance are both 57%. When I use my Dying Sun, I am fire resistance capped, but I'm still not capped on lightning resistance. But I don't die, so even if they have lightning, I'm just farming Glacier with this. So if you want to fix that, lose the 7 League Steps and get boots with some lightning resistance and you'll be fine. For the flask, it's very simple. Bubbling Divine Life Flask of Staunching to stop the bleeding and to heal you instantly. A Dying Sun for more projectiles while spinning. This Cinder Swallow Urn, mostly to get some mana back. That's very important, but also 62% increased critical strike chance during flask effect. That's a lot. That's insane. Plus, you gain, you recharge 1 charge when you consume an ignited corpse, and enemies ignited by you during flask effect take 10% increased damage. So that's flat damage right there. That's actually insane, right? Critical strike and then just a movement speed one. And for the gear, we only have some jewels left. So you want 2 rolling flame ones, one here, one here. Get those that have area of effect damage and as high fire damage as you can. They go for around 1 exalt, so that's not too bad. This one, just to get some mana back, it's not too bad. But what I am lacking is chance to ignite on this gem, and you do want that. You want chance to ignite on this gem right here, and I would say instead of maximum life. And then for the last jewel that I'm using, which is actually insane, is this Watcher's Eye with all the crit multiplier while affected by anger, and then 46, which can be 50% increased fire damage while affected by anger as well. Insane. This one cost me 14 exalted orbs, so this really turns up the damage, but you don't actually have to use it. I didn't use it for a bit and it was still fine. The build is still fine. So that's the gear. I think you could use different rings with flat elemental damage as well. Elemental damage with attacks, then just get some elemental resistant life on it. But I have to say, I just really like the 10% chance to free shock and ignite on these rings because it stacks well with the Cinder Swallow Urn, right? It charges 1 charge when you consume an ignited or a corpse, and it deals 10% more damage when you actually attack someone that's ignited. So that's a really good set to use together. I really love that. And now, skills. So the most important part for most of you guys normally. As we said, Sire of Shards for the weapon. In that we want Cyclone, cast while channeling, which is better than cast while, what it's called? And then this. So, up to the skills is actually all centered around the Sire of Shards, where you fire your projectiles in a circle. We want Cyclone, then cast while channeling, which is much better than cast on crit, because normally when you spin around through the Monolith, you're not going to be hitting that much. Certainly not critting, because you will one bang everything, and this will just be fast as hell anyway. So I prefer cast while channeling, and I wouldn't recommend cast on crit, even though we're going for a high crit build, right? Then we have Vaal Fireball, which I don't really use because it doesn't shoot in a circle. It only shoots in a circle while you're actually doing this. Then increased area of effect, just to clear the Monolith faster. If you don't want to use this, you could use something like increased elemental damage support, something like that. Combustion support, just to have the chance to ignite and deal more fire damage. It's a great one. And greater multiple projectiles to shoot more projectiles. The helmet, I chose to go with Righteous Fire, Frost Blink, Arcane Surge support, and increased duration support. So what you actually want to be doing is every time you're just playing, you want to kind of spam Frost Blink. And every third or fourth Frost Blink, you get your Arcane Surge and you start dealing a bit more damage. Not too shabby. I like it. It's actually quite good. The Vaal Righteous Fire is just a very good ability to clear the... well, when you encounter like a general or something like that, it's actually very good for that. And the rest is just increased duration and Frost Blink. Then the second 6-link is in your chest. Obviously, Carcass Jack. Then we have Immortal Call, Armageddon Brand, Curse on Hit, Power Charge on Crit, Cast when Damage Taken support, and Projectile Weakness. I thought about going very into depth on why I chose this, but it's actually quite simple. More chance to ignite an Armageddon Brand. Curse on Hit is just very nice to get the Armageddon Brand on all your enemies. Immortal Call is just for... goes together when cast when damage taken, so every time you get hit you get Immortal Call for more survivability, less elemental damage and less physical damage taken. Then the Power Charge on Crit speaks for itself. You get power charges, and the Projectile Weakness is curses all targets in an enemy, making them easier to pierce. So your fireballs are piercing enemies easy. And then for the boots, you can go with some setup with the Lightning Golem and cast when damage taken. This one's corrupted, and I just couldn't be asked to get a double 1-link because I never give up my portal and leap slam, because I just like it. And Frost Blink has a cooldown, so I don't want to be running around without having a movement skill if I have to get out of somewhere quick. So that's the gear, and that's the skills. And then all we have left is the skill tree. Right, so for the Ascendancy we're going Deadeye, and the reason for that is basically just this ricochet. It makes your skills chain one more time, and per chain you still have to go. It's 10% increased damage for your projectiles. So that's very good. And if you compare that with the +1 here, and then the +1 on the Gloomfang, that's 20% increased damage already, just from this one. We get more area of effect, and an additional projectile from Endless Munitions here. We get Far Shot from this one, which means the fireballs will travel much further than if you don't have that. And then these little nodes are all just projectile damage and accuracy. If you use the Queen of the Forest, you might want to go with Gathering Winds, but if you don't, I would recommend going down here for more critical strike chance, more projectile damage, and projectiles pierce 3 additional targets, and every time they pierce someone, they deal 100% increased critical strike chance to that person. So crit all around, right? That's actually very strong. I like it this way just because it makes it so that you have loads of projectiles and your damage gets buffed up quite a bit. What I try to do in the skill tree, I'll just tell you that because maybe you'll be able to change some things, I don't know. Get enough survivability, get loads of area damage, get loads of spell damage, spell damage with staffs, and then fire damage. And I'll show you what I took is evasion and life for survivability. This is good for the attack speed, and the dex is not bad either. You could go up here, get this maximum life if you want to go into a little bit higher maps. I don't really want to, so I don't need it. Going down here, it's just dexterity, then some life. Go up here, you want this one, this socket for the Watcher's Eye I talked about. Some more crit chance because we're a crit build. You go all the way up here, take some life here. Another jewel here. Don't forget to get the ignite chance you can on this. Or the maximum life, it's either or, just which you prefer. Down here we have so evasion rating, maximum life, life regeneration. It's not too bad. More evasion. Here's chaos damage, movement speed, dexterity, and physical damage. I would say only take this if you really want the movement speed. But what I would recommend as well is, if you can, just go for this one for more projectile speed, area of effect, and increased damage 8%. I don't even know why I went in here. Just for the movement speed. I like to be quick. Elemental damage, more damage crit. Go up here. This is more life and energy shield. So as you guys can see, all we're taking is damage, area of effect, and life. And crit. That's basically it. Then we go up here. You can take this area of effect here. I would recommend getting these two nodes as well. I'm not high enough level, so if you get to level 81, you can take these two. More area damage and area of effect, which is great. Definitely get these. If you go and look at here, you get a bit survivability, chance to block spell damage while wielding a staff, while still getting 15% increased spell damage while wielding a staff. That's just insane. And Unholy might on block for 3 seconds, so that's not bad either. Because if you look down here, more chance to block spells, more chance to gain power charge with a staff. Sorry, I said spells. Staff. And more attack speed and cast speed with the staff. So that's good. And that ties in nicely with these nodes here. Here we just go for another rolling flame socket. And then we go down here. Spell damage, cast speed, life, and mana recovery. Because, trust me, you have a problem with mana if you first start this build. So you really want to get some mana nodes. Down here we have increased damage and attack speed, strength, and intelligence. The minion stuff doesn't really matter to us. More area of effect, more elemental damage, elemental resistances, spell damage, cast speed, more life here, then just more life, strength to level up our gems. 30% of damage is taken from mana before life. You could take this one once you level up. I think that would be very good. So you still want to take these two, blast radius and area of effect damage. And after that, I think you want to go through here. 1, 2, 3 with the maximum life and elemental resist. Go up here for the intelligence, and then just go up here for all the fire damage and the fire damage leached as energy shield. We don't really have much energy shield, obviously, so you're just going to be taking this for the fire damage and the fire damage penetration. But that should get you to like level, we need 2 there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 levels, that's at level 90, which is actually very, very easy to get for those of you that think, oh, level 90, that's insane. It's not. With this build, you'll probably be level 90 in a week if you have the time to play. Just by doing glacier maps. It's not that hard, not that difficult. But that's it. That's the build. I tried to do it in one video. Let me guys know if you want to see future builds in one video or 3 videos like I used to do with the first one, with the basics, the gear, and then the skills plus skill tree in a separate video. Just because I'm trying to feel it out and I don't actually know what you guys prefer. So let me guys know. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, see you later guys. Eddie out.